You ever notice at some point artists usually start phoning it in? Maybe it's due to age, or they just don't care anymore, or maybe they are so rich that they don't need to do it anymore or try anymore. But at some point, it feels like almost every single comic artist like starts phoning it in, and I don't know what their deal is. They just don't want to try anymore. They just don't care. And then it almost looks like, when people do preliminary sketches and they kind of want to figure out what the cover is, then they go, okay, that's it. And the editor approves it. And then they actually really start doing it. Well, it seems like as artists start aging or just getting too talented where they don't care, or they have other things going on, except for some, um, they just start phoning it in. That is not the case with like Todd McFarlane or Jim Lee. I still feel like their art is on point, but there's a lot of artists that start phoning it in. And here's the latest one that started phoning it in. And this is just, I saw this and I thought it was a joke. I thought it was, if you ever go to a convention or something like that and you ask them to draw something, sometimes they'll draw a little like head or something like that of Spider-Man or whatever. But sometimes they'll do more of a elaborate drawing. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a sketch on a blank variant or something. But no, this is an actual cover. This is ridiculous. This is Frank Miller. This is his new Wolverine cover. It is terrible. This is terrible. I don't even know what to say. Like, I saw this and I was like, what is this? I thought it was a joke. This is not good. And he also, he did that Batman with him crouching in the Dark Knight. And so that's like his pose now that he does. And he always does that. Like he did this one. It's a very similar pose, like a crouching thing. I mean, yes, this one's a little bad, but at the same time, it doesn't look as bad because the thing is a rock monster. So it's like, okay, it's up to interpretation a little bit. And all the little little drawings inside there, like all of his little rocks and stuff like that. Okay, it kind of adds to it. It's a little more involved. Nothing going on in the background, literally just character, but still not the greatest. But this, I don't even say what this is. This looks like a kid's drawing. And I get it, you want to take some artistic liberties, but look at his face. Look at that face. This is the same person. Right? And I get it. Batman's a little weird looking, but it kind of works. This Wolverine, the person that drew this Wolverine, is the same one that drew this Wolverine. This Wolverine is this Wolverine. That's insane to me. This is good. I like this. This is good. Classic cover. This is not a classic cover. Will never be. And it's just like there's no definition of like it looks very flat. At least here there's like multiple things going on. There's no real shading. It's just like they're putting their name on this. Like I don't understand it. I really don't get it. I mean, here we go. I mean, at least this has some like shading in it and things like that. And it's very different, but it works. This doesn't work. This literally looks like he's like, draw a cover. Here you go. Good enough. I don't know. I mean, you can look through other Frank Miller stuff, right, throughout the years. And all this stuff is really, really good. And he's put some, artistic liberties in some of these, but they still work and they still are good. But if you're just going through these covers that he's done throughout the ages, even this is like very different looking, but it works. It works, like that style works. But, I mean, these are so much better. But this, I don't know what this is. And it's weird that he's gone into this like crouching thing where it's almost like Kevin Eastman does like, if you ever get a sign by Kevin Eastman, he'll sometimes draw a little turtle face. And it'll look something like this if he's getting a little more detailed, or it'll generally look like this. That's what this is like, reminds me of. Like Frank Miller's that. Like, basically this. And even Kevin Eastman's been like sliding down on the scale of, what's good and not. I mean, here he is doing a very Frank Miller look, but look, I think this is a great cover. Very, very good, very good. And now this is him. Kevin Eastman's like sliding into that, like, I get Kevin Eastman's style has changed and it's a little different, but I feel like it's not as good as it once was. Here's what Kevin Eastman used to be. Here's what Kevin Eastman is now. Used to be. Now. Used to be. Now. And it happens all the time. Here's Gil Kane. Great. Fantastic. Here's Gil Kane later. Before. After. Here's another one. Look at the difference. Joe Kubert. Look how great he was. Here's his war covers. Some Hawkman. Another war cover. Then that cover. Very flat. Phoned in. Like, look at their faces. They look weird. And not very much detail, but at the same time, too much detail. And then look at this one. Oh, great. This is Joe Kubert as well. Joe Kubert. Joe Kubert. Look at that. Fantastic. Great. I don't know what this is. It's very flat, and I get it. People's styles change a little bit, but I feel like there's changing for the laziness, not changing to get better. Like, Jim Lee is still fantastic, but, I mean, this is just, I don't know. They're just phoning it in. And Frank Miller is at the phone in part of his life, where this is basically, like, you're putting your name on that. It just, just everything about it. It just doesn't look good. There's one thing to look stylized, but there's also another thing just look bad and cheap and lazy. That's what it looks like, lazy. It looks like this, what you get at a Comic-Con sketch. Let me do a little sketch real quick. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think below.